the dream of the master race. The history books, they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. Say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come. And if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
From all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Hello there everybody, hello there all. The chat has just gone off, I don't know why that's happened. It was there, and now it's not there anymore. Are we going to have one of those again? Okay, whatever. Hello everyone, we're doing Normal Island, that's what's happening. I will be turning my fans off shortly because the audio and all that jazz, but yeah, you can give me money if you wanted to. In the ways that you know you can, bits, subs, super chats, super thanks. You can gigantify an emote. You can pay for an assassin to take me out. You can do all sorts of things. Not that you should do that last one, of course. Legal reasons, legal reasons, legal reasons. Yes. Let's check that the audio's actually coming through the real place that I wanted to come out of. No, it was coming out the stream camera again. Fuck me, why does it automatically choose that? I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, no, you turn that on, I think. Oh, after this, oh, sorry, 1 second everybody, apologies. Deactivate. Does that now work? Hello? Nope. I don't know. We'll see if it works.
Okay.
Hello there, everybody.
There he is.
Howdy.
Hello.
Is my camera not working?
Yeah, I don't see a camera. Also, are you connected to your mic because your fan is so loud?
No, I'm going to turn that off before we get going, but like I need it up to the
really?
last second because I am
Fair enough.
sweating like a
sweltering.
Yeah,
pig.
I'm sweltering at the moment, Kevin. I'm boiling. It's so hot.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're always hot.
Oh.
Okay, I'll
Right
drop.
back at you.
Well, thank you. I'll drop out and come back in. 1 second.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Hopefully my camera works because I've disabled the thing on the thing now. Hopefully. Please work, camera. Otherwise I'm going to cry. I'm going to actually cry. There we go. Fucking Jesus. Jesus wept. But then again, he was a pussy, so you know. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling out Jesus of Nazareth, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm a madman. Hang on, that's not gonna work, is it? That isn't gonna work either. Okay. None of this is working, Kev. None of it. Is that gonna work? That might work. Hopefully. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into this, shall we? I'm rocking the Mamdani tonight as well. Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's boiling.
It is. It's too hot. It's too
Yep.
hot.
Oh,
It's too hot.
What we should do is just have lots more fossil fuel so this keeps happening.
yeah.
Definitely.
That sounds
Drill,
like a
baby,
plan.
drill.
Yeah.
Yes. None of this net stupid zero.
Exactly. It's woke to want like a planet that we can actually live on as humans.
You
know?
do realise that Richard Tyson literally said that it was, quote, woke weakness that people complain about the heat.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Woke weakness. That's a new one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Should we bang on the countdown?
the sound of that fan is making me feel a little bit cooler, which is nice.
Yeah, but to be fair,
You just feel cooler.
to be fair, you're always cool.
You've used that joke already, haven't you? So I don't know if you can.
Gonna,
No, he said he was always hot. It's the exact opposite. It's a totally
so
different
you're
joke.
contradicting yourself, then, aren't you? You're not making any sense.
All right, nerd. Someone's never been laid before. Jesus.
oof.
Barnet needs a.
You what, sorry?
My Barnet needs a shot.
So does mine, but I don't like interacting with humans.
I mean, this is the extent of it.
Okay.
Hang on. Oh no, we got a little bit of time. It reminds me of a story. This is genuinely true, by the way. When we were growing up, the barbers we went to, the guy was a Holocaust survivor, right? And he literally had the number tattooed on his arm and everything, right? And like we understood that, but my younger brother's a little bit. He's like 5 years younger than me, and we convinced him it was his telephone number. And we said to him,
Oh god.
we said he keeps forgetting his telephone number, so his wife writes it on his arm for him.
God, so horrible. That's so fucking dark.
Why do we associate with this guy?
I know, innit?
Oh, I was
He's gonna
about
drag us down.
I was about 12 or something. Leave me alone.
Has your humour
Your
improved?
12-year-old should have known.
Yeah, no, I've moved on to fingering corpses now. Please.
I don't really get that joke, by the way. You say it a lot. I don't understand it.
It's not even really a joke. It's based on a story I told once about fingering a girl against the Birmingham Central Library. And then it became fingering dead fascists, and now it's just like a meme of its own. It's there's deep lore there, you know.
Is there a reason why you don't get like exclusives from the Green Party?
Well, I've always said, right, when I go on about like fingering Margaret Thatcher's corpse, why don't Coca-Cola want to advertise in front of my content? It's a mystery. What I should do is talk about murdering South American trade unionists.
Musk is more advertisement friendly than you are.
You just talked all over my leftist joke there.
Oh, sorry. We'll
I said
start in 10 seconds. Anyway.
I should have talked about murdering South American trade unionists, and then Coca-Cola would love me. Anyway.
Hello, and welcome to Normal Islands Live. I'm Curtis Daly, and I'm joined by Kevin Logan. Kevin, how is the heat? How are you dealing with it?
I am sweating. That is
Really?
all. That is all. I am sweating. Yes. How are you?
Very, very hot, actually. I mean, I'm lucky that the studio is above a car park, so it's slightly cooler. But upstairs, we've got fans ablaze. And it just feels like, 'cause I bought a new fan, it feels like they're blowing hot air in your face.
Yeah.
Try to open the window, and hot air just comes in.
Yeah.
So it's not good.
I've taken to about 5 cold showers a day now, just to try and sort of stave off death.
I mean, I'm not one to have a cold shower, but I had one today, and it was actually quite nice. You get it with a shock, and then you're like,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I think I might be part Nordic because I do enjoy the cold.
you got cold heart as well. Just kidding.
See, I was going to be
Pleasure
nice to
enjoying
you.
it.
I was going to be nice to you, but no, not now.
Fine. But pleasure that you've joined me tonight. Of course, everyone, please make sure you try and cool yourselves down, drink plenty of water, and stay safe out there. Of course, the corporate media will tell you, "Oh, it's just 1979. We had a summer back then. It's just the weather changes." Yeah, I mean, we're breaking records already. And before, backstage, we were just saying about how Richard Tice is coined moaning about the weather due to climate change as the weak wokeness. Weak wokeness. Now, what we're going to be discussing tonight is pretty big stories. The first one is, excuse me, Keir Starmer's speech, or the beginning of it, where he attacks the Labour Party, attacks Jeremy Corbyn's leadership, and Jeremy Corbyn responds to that. Our top story, we are going to be talking about Israel and their influence in our political system. And surprisingly, Parliament debated it. However, it was kind of a farce. We'll be looking at a lot of footage from MPs basically saying that, well, there's nothing wrong. There's no influence from Israel. And of course, we'll be talking about Nigel Farage. He's back on the media, and he's been asked about his £5 million donation. He doesn't like to be held accountable. Remember to like the stream and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want us to grow, because we are independent media, complete volunteers, then you can support us by going to turnleftmedia.co.uk/supports. There's a link to our Patreon or another link to a one-off donation. You can also become a YouTube member for 99p. And please go and follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/. Let's go to our first story. Nigel Farage simply cannot handle scrutiny. After doing a disappearing act, he's decided to come back onto the airways for the 10-year Brexit anniversary. But in doing so, he was asked about his £5 million donation from billionaire Christopher Harborne, and it's safe to say he was completely rattled.
You know better than most politicians how LBC works. I'm getting comments as you and I speaking. This man needs to tell us, what has he done with the £5 million? Get him to be truthful. Nigel Farage, please, what has happened to this £5 million gift?
With all due respect, what's it got to do with you?
Well, because it speaks to the position of you hold in office. Initially, we were told that it was because of your personal security and it would pay for that for the rest of your life. Then apparently It was some kind of reward for campaigning for Brexit. I am told we have two different stories. Which is the truth?
Well, I think you're contradicting yourself there, aren't you?
Well, if you tell me what happened with the £5 million, then we're solved.
It's an unconditional gift. I can spend it on Ferraris if I want. That'd be entirely up to me.
Why did you say it was for personal security then?
Because it was given as an unconditional gift, right? The understanding is, and you know very well, I've been physically more attacked over many years than any other politician.
I've been with you when you've been abused. I've seen that. But my listeners want to know, Mr. Farage, how much has been spent?
Nick, I can do with it as I want. I can do what I want with it. Well, I can put it on the horses.
Yes, you are under review, though, by the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner.
Well, and maybe we shouldn't be discussing it in that case. But what I will say to you is, I know that I will need protection until I die.
Right.
I've no idea how long that will be. None of us do. But I know that it's damned expensive. And I now don't have to worry or even think about that because repeatedly over the years, when I've asked for help from the state, I've been refused.
So it was a reward for personal security?
Sorry, Nick, you're confusing two things. One is the money comes in, the other is where it goes, right? I can do with it as I wish, but I know myself what it's for.
What's it to do with you? Nothing to do with you. A £5 million bung. I can do whatever I want with it. I mean, to be honest, it's less interesting what he does with the money. What's more interesting is the fact that he was given the money in the first place. And I think there's a lot of journalists have spent far too much time talking about what you're going to spend your money on, are you going to spend it on security, whatever. It misses the point. But that a billionaire who resides in Thailand gave him £5 million. Now, I find this next clip interesting on Talk TV, more so in regards to Julia Hartley-Brewer.
Right, now, you're going to get cross with me, but I'm going to ask you about this. This £5 million that you took as a gift from the crypto millionaire Christopher Harborne, who lives in Thailand. You've described it variously as something that would pay for your security for years because of the huge physical threats that you do face, and I'm very aware of that. You've also talked about it being a reward for all your work on Brexit. Harborne has given, many millions more to the party, which has been declared. You did not declare this money because you said it was a private gift. You weren't in Parliament. You're now being investigated by the Privileges Committee. This is being thrown around on social media, has been hugely damaging to you. Do you regret not declaring that money?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a purely private matter. It had nothing to do with politics whatsoever. I don't believe the rules in any way suggested that I should. So I didn't. And it wasn't a donation, it was a gift. It was an unconditional gift. All right? Now, as for his motives for doing that, well, I think he thought that maybe having given up a quarter of a century of my life, given up a good career in the City of London, faced all the abuse, perhaps he thought I deserved it. But that's irrelevant. It was an unconditional gift. So whether, and I made it very clear that I will need to have protection until the day I die, whenever that is, and none of us, of course, quite know the answer to that, and that would be its primary purpose. But frankly, I can do with the money as I wish. It is with the Standards Commissioner. I believe, having looked very carefully with lawyers, at the rule book, that I'm in the right.
Most people think of a gift as, I don't know, a bottle of champagne, a box of chocolates, not 5 million quid. Do you understand why most of us find it absolutely impossible to believe that someone who lives on the other side of the world, no matter how much he loves Brexit, and I don't think anyone loves it more than you and me, that they would go, you know what, Nige, love you, here's 5 million quid, no strings attached. Do you understand why that, frankly, is not believable?
I think you'll find he voted in Hampshire, so I think you'll find that's where home, actually. But whatever. Yeah, they may well do. And people inherit vast sums of money, and all sorts of things happen in life.
He voted in Hampshire. I mean, look, Christopher Harbin lives in Thailand, and he's been there for 2 decades. He hasn't just nipped over there where he resides, which is quite funny because I feel like if it was anybody else, he'd be like, he shouldn't be voting here. He lives in another country. We should care about our borders. Suddenly borders don't really matter, does it? Capital, the flight of capital, and ease of capital going through our borders is not much. But I feel like her bias was on display because she began the interview almost apologizing. Well, I know you're going to be cross with me, so I've got to ask you this question. You're a journalist. But of course, Talk TV is just reform media, just like GB News, all right? But as the interview went on, you could see Farage was getting visibly irritated.
He's not your dad. You didn't inherit it.
People inherit money.
He's a crypto billionaire living on the other side of the planet, and he gave you... But again, you talked about, you said this is an unconditional gift. Yeah. Is it a gift, a reward, or is it for your security? Because
no, it's an unconditional gift. I can spend it on Ferraris if I wish to, all right?
Are you spending it on Ferraris, or are you spending it on your security?
None of your business.
The thing is, when politicians get freebies, even if it's before they're politicians, the rules are very clear that if it's before up to a year before you become elected as an MP, and I do accept that at the time that you were given this gift, you were not an MP and you were not planning to return at that time. I'd had conversations with people in Reform around that time. Nevertheless, the rules state that you should declare that money.
No,
because, but did you think that Keir Starmer should have declared his free suits from Lord Ali?
Well, they were political.
How is a suit political and £5 million, more money than most people would ever think of or ever earn or enjoy in their lives? How can that not be political?
By the way, this is a hugely successful British business.
Good for him.
All right, which is a good thing.
Yes, good for him.
Yeah. Julia, it's a private thing. It wasn't a political donation. If you read the rules carefully, I've done absolutely nothing wrong.
Then why is there a Standards and Privileges Committee investigation into you? And why has this done so much damage?
Because it has to you, and it has to the London media class, but it didn't.
No, really... I don't think that's fair. When I first heard, I don't think I am typical of that class, and I understand your security needs. I think you know now that it was a mistake not to declare that money.
No, I don't. And I spoke to hundreds of people in Makerfield, walking up and down streets over 4 days of campaigning, and only one person raised it as an issue. Only one person raised it as an issue.
Are you cooperating fully with the committee?
Of course, but there isn't much to say.
Wouldn't it be easier? Declare it. Show the receipts for what you've spent it on for security. Round-the-clock security costs an absolute fortune. Hundreds of thousands of pounds. Job done.
This is an unconditional gift, all right? And I was reported, as the local elections came up, that the chairman of the Conservative Party, they were terrified of what we might... And of course, we did wipe out the Conservatives in Essex and places like that. They were terrified of it. They've tried to make it political. I don't believe it is. I believe it's purely personal.
Astonishing. To try and say as well that, yes, of course, Wahid Ali gave Keir Starmer Labour Party freebies and gifts, which we criticised. We did it on our channel loads. The right-wing media, reform politicians, they lost their minds, right? And again, it's wrong, but he was given clothing. He's saying, well, that's political. But this £5 million donation, that's not political. It's all political, Nige. It's all political, right? even if you're a billionaire, 5 million quid is still a lot of money to you. You're not just going to give someone 5 million pounds for absolutely nothing. Now, Farage is actually right about one thing. Brewer is very much part of the London media class. But he says it as if he's also not part of the establishment. Kevin, do you think Farage wasn't expecting these questions, hoping the media would have just moved on?
Yeah, I think he was hoping that was the case. I think he was desperately hoping that they'd moved on from this because he knows there's no real defence of this. But of course, much like his daddy across the pond, he knows he can't apologise for anything. He knows that to step back in any way whatsoever is against the plan. You never apologise, you never concede anything, even if you say, for instance, I don't know, start a war and then lose it having declared victory 4 fucking times. Anyway, yeah, he's kind of genuinely sort of pathetic to see him squirm like that, but it's good that finally, after only 25 years of him affecting British politics, all of a sudden now they are giving him some level of scrutiny, which is nice. There are so many weird little elements to this story. Firstly, look, it is everyone else's business, even if the letter of the law wasn't technically broken. You're looking to become Prime Minister, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard than that. I'm sorry, you just do. You want to be a servant of the people, you'd better actually be open with the people, is the way I look at it. Look at the last person who didn't do that, and it was Keir Starmer. And look where he's ending up. We'll get to that later. Yeah, he will undoubtedly need security for the rest of his life. So let's hope that's not for very long then, And yeah, he's the truly disgusting part of this, though, of course, besides that joke, I suppose, is that he calls himself the most attacked politician in the country. I wonder if the bereaved families of Joe Cox and David Amess, 2 members of Parliament in recent years who were murdered, I wonder if they would agree that being milkshaked, having a liquid milk-based beverage thrown upon you twice, is the same as being stabbed to death. Yeah, Nige, wind it in, mate. Wind it in. I mean, Trump, again, it's very Trumpian to do this. Trump says he's the most attacked American president, which is odd considering 4 of them have been assassinated. And apparently the marksmanship of his enemies is very poor. Nigel Farage is just full of shit. It's so obviously political. Not only has he openly admitted it was for his efforts in Brexit, which makes it political, not only is it clearly not unconditional, given that he instantly started having very, very pro-cryptocurrency policies as soon as he received £5 million from a crypto billionaire, but also, like, at what point do we have to really look at the laws around this? Because if you can just give £5 million completely tax-free, how is that different from just money laundering? What's to stop the mafia from doing exactly the same? Like, if you can just give a £5 million gift, then what is wire fraud? Does that even exist in Britain? I don't even know how you would be guilty of it if this isn't that. Nigel Farage is so enmeshed in the swamp that he doesn't even realise, I think, how damaging this is around the country. He says that only one person mentioned it in Makerfield. I can assure you, Nigel, a lot more people care about this around the country than you would care to admit. And it's certainly one of the reasons that you've seen such a dip in the polls for reform in recent weeks, because they've been enmeshed in scandals that are very, very reminiscent of the kind of scandals that the Tories and Labour have been in for years as well, showing that they are merely a third cheek of the same arse.
Do you think this is gonna hang around his neck? Because I mean, you've got even friendly media to reform. They're pressing him on it. I mean, you've got LBC, Nick Ferrari's on the right. You've got Julie Hartley-Brewer firmly on the right, and Talk TV is just a right-wing channel. Yeah. They're even pressing it. So it feels like that it's not just the BBC and left-wing media, but right-wing media going after him too. It's like it's too big to ignore. Do you think this is not going to go away? And second part to that question is, even the fact that even though they are asking him this question, it's good, there seems to be something missing, which is, I feel like it's individualizing it. Sure, it's, he's received a lot of money, but they don't talk about the fact that, well, this guy's a crypto billionaire and suddenly you're pro crypto, because it's almost like it's too close to the bone. They
Yeah.
can ask Nigel Farage about his £5 million donation, but they don't want to start asking questions about, oh, maybe the system's broken because you've got the media that are owned by billionaires. You've got, okay, Christopher Harbin doesn't own media, but I'm sure he knows people. Probably knows Paul Marshall.
Yeah, I imagine so. Again, the system can't be broken. It's just bad faith actors. That's the only thing, right? You can never question the core of the system, which is why, of course, the Labour Party don't go after the Tories for their dodgy donations, but by and large, and vice versa, because they realise that that's just a circular firing squad, because they're all guilty of it. And Nigel Farage is absolutely a part of that. The Lib Dems are absolutely a part of that. It's only really the Green Party and, to a degree, the SNP that are not really in that same camp, although the SNP have had their own problems with, let's say, financial matters in recent days. But at least, I mean, thankfully, in that one case, justice was actually served. If justice were to be served in this case, Nigel Farage would also be in jail. But one might describe it as two-tier policing if one was being coy. You can never question the system. The system isn't wrong. It's just the people. It's individualising in the same way that we can't question why climate change is happening. It's just the carbon footprint of individuals rather than 10 companies pumping out 90% of the carbon dioxide. And so Nigel Farage, like you say, it's being kind of individualised upon him as if this is bad faith acting, which, I mean, it is bad faith acting, but it's not just that. There's something far, far more rotten at the core of the system. But like you say, the fact that the right-wing media are doing this, and the fact that like true believers like Julia Hartley-Brewer, who is like a Nigel Farage fanboy, is coming out and essentially trying to coach him through it by saying, can you see why people would not think that was believable?
Yeah. You can see the
basically,
bias underneath it.
You can basically, she was saying, this is bullshit. Stop defending bullshit. It's difficult to do propaganda on behalf of you, Nigel, if you carry on talking bullshit that people can see through. Because again, a gift, as she says, is a box of chocolates, a bottle of wine, something like that. Not £5 million. That's not normal, Nigel. Stop it. And he still has to carry on with the thing, you know?
You know, like if you work in, I don't know if it's the same for all companies, but certain like retail company, you're not even allowed to give a bottle of champagne, technically. You're not like, you have to declare something as cheap as that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Right? Obviously, I think that just goes too far.
Yeah.
But in companies like where everyday people work, right? You can't do that because they could say you're coercing, or a customer gives you some beer because the bosses are worried that you're giving discount back. Society's more stringent on that than a billionaire giving money.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in Parliament, they have this weird thing where if you just say that you have a conflict of interest, it goes away.
It goes away.
It does. Like, it doesn't actually. You still have that conflict of interest, but because you've stated it, it means you can't be touched for it, even though you're still allowed to vote on the piece of legislation that the person might have given you money to vote on. Or you might have asked a question in Parliament specifically because someone has given you money, or in the case of certain DUP members of Parliament, because they were given free holidays by the government of Sri Lanka. Yeah, I haven't fucking forgotten. Nothing happened to him, though, because, again, the system is just rank and corrupt to its very core. And we need a clean brush to sweep through it, frankly, and Nigel Farage is not that. And if anything shows that, it's the fact that, as you pointed out, he reappeared on the 10th anniversary of Brexit, another scandalous piece of sabotage done by Nigel Farage. That's an unconvincing rhyme, but there we go. By Nigel Farage on the country that has caused years and years of turmoil and suffering and financial and cultural, social, political damage. And yet he is being held up as the future Prime Minister. And I mean, I can't help but feel we live on the most normal island there has ever been.
Was it sabotage from Farage?
Yeah.
Oh. I
went a bit Beastie Boys with it, yeah.
As Trump says, drain the swamp. We need to drain the swamp.
Although it's very interesting that he has not only not drained a swamp, he's literally installed one in the reflecting pool of the Lincoln Memorial.
Exactly. And he's putting fences up.
Although
you can get arrested just by looking at
this, like, it's beyond satire. You know that this is completely a side tangent, but you know the company the owner of the company gave, was it $1.5 million to Trump or something, and then got this contract. That company is called Greenwater.
Is it actually?
It's actually called Greenwater.
That almost feels like divine justice.
Like, are
Not
you
really justice.
They're taking the piss now, right? They have to be taking the.
They know they're taking the piss.
Yeah. Mad.
Okay, let's move on. Let's go on to our top story tonight. It's our one. Now, on Monday, MPs debated in Parliament a petition which called public inquiry into pro-Israel influence on politics after it reached 118,000 signatures. What transpired wasn't a debate, but an Israeli love fest, with participating MPs calling the petition, and you guessed it, anti-Semitic.
This is no criticism of my honourable friend who leads for the Petitions Committee in this matter. But am I alone in feeling distinctly uneasy about this debate? Why is Israel singled out in this way? Why not Gulf countries, Iran, Eastern Europe, or the USA? This is being discussed at a time when the Jewish community are clearly under threat and are suffering numerous hideous attacks. I'm not sure I trust the motivation, Ms. Harris, behind the petition organisers, and I very much fear this whole thing smacks of an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
Labour MPs Alex Davies-Jones, Gareth Snell and Peter Prinsley said there shouldn't have been an inquiry. Those three MPs were there. Now, Peter Prinsley actually breached the declaration of interest in regards to a Labour Friends of Israel trip. He also said that the petition was a regurgitation of anti-Semitic tropes.
Peter Prinsley.
It's a pleasure to serve under your chair, Mrs. Harris, but I take no pleasure whatsoever in speaking of this debate with its manipulative title, which fits the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism, as Lord Pickles has clearly stated. Now, I must register my interest. I am, of course, a Jewish MP, I think perhaps the only Jewish MP here this afternoon, a member of the Labour Friends of Israel, the APP Chief of British Jews, and a representative on the Board of Deputies of British Jews. So I would say shame on those who have orchestrated this regurgitation of anti-Semitic trope. It is ancient, just as it is predictable. There were 57 Jews slaughtered in Bury St Edmunds in 1190, then Norwich, Lincoln and York. Our country has a terrible record of anti-Jewish hatred, and all the Jews of England were expelled in 1290.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes...
Few people know that. So anti-Semitism is not new in this country. So pro-Israel influence on politics and democracy. Just think a little bit about that title. It's familiar, we've seen it before. In the 20s and 30s, German anti-Semites and Nazis argued that the Weimar Republic had become verjudet, Jewified. In 1941, Nazi propaganda depicted Jews as secretly manipulating London, Washington and Moscow. So the idea that Jews exercise hidden influence over politics, democracy and society is not new. It's an ancient conspiracy theory repeatedly used to isolate Jews, undermine social cohesion and stoke hatred. So let me tell this House what really threatens democracy. The funding of political parties by billionaire expats, claims by Elon Musk that civil war in Britain is inevitable, the Vice President of the United States blaming the terrible murder of Henry Novak on mass migration, Russian interference in democracies across Europe, alleged Iranian links to a number of recent attacks on Jewish institutions, synagogues and communities. And yet here we are, forced to debate Israel's role in our politics and democracy. Anti-Semitism is an ancient hatred, repeatedly repackaged to distract people from their real grievances. Once again, it rears its head in Britain, reaching appalling levels in our streets, our workplaces and online. And this debate is making those divisions worse. The terrible conflict in the Middle East is no justification for this. Citizens of conscience march with genuine and heartfelt sense of outrage at the war, and I respect that. But there are those who seek to intimidate. Just try being a law-abiding Jew on a British town centre on a Saturday afternoon. Too many Jews, citizens' public spaces are not safe. So, let us come to our senses. We must reject anti-Semitism in all its forms, reject conspiracy theory dressed up as political analysis, and defend a politics based on evidence, decency and truth.
He begins that speech by saying, it's a shame, absolute shame to those who wanted this debate and petition. I say shame on you. Shame on everyone in that debate who brought up anti-Semitism. Now, the irony here is they keep bringing up the IHRA definition. But the thing is, though, one of the definitions of anti-Semitism is conflating Israel and Jewish people. He talks about how in Nazi Germany, the society was becoming Jewified. Where does it say Jew in the title of the petition? It says Israel, not Jewish people. But time and time again, we get Israel defenders try and shield their war crimes, try and shield their genocide by saying, we cannot have a debate because you're anti-Semitic. It's an anti-Semitic trope. Is it really? Now, he says that, well, singling out Israel, that's obviously anti-Semitism because Israel is the only Jewish state. That's complete nonsense. But he also contradicts himself because in that very speech, notice how he mentions Russian interference as a problem. Well, hold on a second. A moment ago, he just says, well, if we single out Israel and their influence on our politics, that's anti-Semitic. That's a trope. But by the way, Russian interference is bad. So are you racist against Russians then? Is that what you're saying? You hate all Russians? Of course not. That would be preposterous. And there is obviously Russian influence. Just like there is many states worldwide because states want to lobby for their own power. It just so happens, though, that Israel has our political system in the bind. It's just true. But he contradicts himself. Now, guess who else was at the debate? That's right, Richard Tice.
This motion is anti-Semitic in its very motivation, in its core, and as such, we should utterly reject it. And people have spoken brilliantly and passionately about that. But I think we can actually turn that terrible negative into a positive because it asks us to talk about the influence of Israel on, for example, democracy. Well, democracies thrive when our citizens are healthy. And so maybe we should celebrate the incredible brilliance and influence that Israeli scientists and entrepreneurs and people specializing in medical research, in AI applications, the work that they do, the innovation that those people create, whether they be in the state of Israel or whether they be living somewhere else, such as in London, has an incredibly positive influence on the success and health, Madam Chair, of all of us. And I think actually, because of that success and that brilliance, I think we should be saying, we want more of it. I want more innovation. I want more partnerships with brilliant Israeli scientists that can share their knowledge, their understanding. I want more entrepreneurs from Israel listing their companies on joint listings, for example, on the UK Stock Exchange, preferably than somewhere else. I want more AI experts from Israel sharing that best practice, sharing that knowledge for the benefit of all of us.
Now, Iqbal Mohammed, independent MB, called out Tice on his AI remarks.
Does he believe that we need more AI weapons that Israel has used to shoot at genitalia of children in Gaza?
Thank you. The use of AI across all of our society and all applications and industries is changing rapidly. But what I would gently suggest to him is actually that the best way to guarantee peace is to prepare for war so that our opponents respect us.
Iqbal then called out pro-Israel Labour MPs, which led to the exchange.
To condemn all forms of anti-Semitism in all forms, anywhere. My remarks referring to Israel refer to Israeli government actions and organisations, interactions with parliamentarians in this place. In 2024, Declassified UK, June 2024, revealed 13 out of the then 25 members of the Labour cabinet received hundreds of thousands in donations from pro-Israel donors, and that some 180 Britain's 650 MPs had accepted such funding during their political careers. That's 1 in 4 elected members. If I can continue, please. The 255 constituents that signed this petition and the 118,000 that signed from across the country would just like to hold our government and our system to account for these donations. what are they for, and what... Okay.
Gareth.
Thank you, Honourable, for giving way. He made the big claim about from pro-Israeli donors. Could he just clarify what he actually means by that? Does he have a particular definition about what that actually means in terms of who those donors were and the purpose that he believes that money was given?
Iqbal Mohammed.
Thank you. I thank my honourable friend for his intervention. Donors that turn a blind eye to blatant violations of Israeli law, British law, or international law.
I love how Iqbal Mohammed just very delicately and quietly came out with facts, reason. People debate room were putting their minds over that. Now, Labour MP David Taylor took the opportunity to not only attack Labour under Jeremy Corbyn, but also independent MP Ayub Khan.
Make the point that what I'm about to say is not meant as a partisan attack, because I am just as angry about incidents of anti-Semitism in my own party as I am when I see it in others. And on that note, on this day in particular, I do want to pay tribute to the Prime Minister, who rooted out the poisonous anti-Semitism that had taken hold of our party. But I have to say, some of the contributions we've heard today, including for the member for Birmingham and Perry Barr, who talked about choosing our words carefully and then going straight into the conflation that we're talking about between the actions of the Israeli government and the Jewish people. I mean, this attack on LFI receives no money whatsoever from the Israeli government. Make the point that what I'm about to say is not meant as a partisan.
Now, he says LFI takes no money. We can't verify that because there's no transparency. So we don't know. Tory MP Mike Wood basically accused Iqbal Mohammed of anti-Semitism.
Only Israel is being singled out. The Rycrofted review specifically focused on Russia and China, didn't mention Israel once. And rightly, it was correctly carried out and nobody had any objections. What's the difference?
Well, I think the difference is that we can see every day of every week of every year that there are concerted attacks coming from Russia and from China, not only on our democratic system, on our communities around the country, across online media, trying to set one part of our community against another, and frankly, they don't care who wins. But I will say that when he spoke earlier about donors, and I think he was mostly talking at that point about donors to the Labour Party, but I know that such donors, obviously to all other parties, that they were to be defined as pro-Israel because they happened to be Jewish and hadn't questioned the actions of the Israel government. I would say it is hard to find a clearer breach of the international definition on anti-Semitism than holding Jewish people in the UK accountable for the actions of the Israel government, which is what the honourable gentleman appeared to do.
That is completely disgraceful. And also, that is what you are doing. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay, when we talk about Israel, we are talking about fucking Israel, not Jewish people. And you get these twats, utter twats who go, well, you're conflating Jewish people. It's like, we're not doing that. You are doing that. No one mentioned Jewish people, right? We are talking about Israel, the terrorist state of Israel. We're talking about the IDF that is murdering children, that we know it's documented, that is sniping babies in the fucking heads. And there are a few MPs who are speaking up against this, who want to do something about it. And also, just in terms of sovereignty, we shouldn't have such close links to a genocidal regime. And we've got Tory MPs saying, well, did you know that you're being really anti-Semitic? Like, honestly, these people just need to fuck off and then fuck off again. Now, MPs in the chamber calling this debate anti-Semitic is, of course, ridiculous. But even more so after what happened in Scotland. So France's cybersecurity has accused an Israeli tech firm called Blackcore of interfering in Scottish elections, specifically targeting John Swinney. Now, France claims Blackcore targeted the SNP 4 times via proxy social media accounts. They apparently engaged in coordinated posting of at least 256 accounts on Twitter, and it distributed 1,400 comments. John Swinney's account was targeted 652 times, Why would they do this? Well, the Scottish government has withheld state grants to arms companies that provide for the IDF. Reuters claims that the Black Core websites, the Black Core company scrubs their website after journalists contacted the company. Hilariously, Black Core described itself as an elite influence cyber and technology. Sorry, start that again. An elite influence cyber and technology company. It's so hot in here. A technology company built for the modern era of information welfare. They also claim they provide cutting edge strategies, advanced tools, and robust security to shape narratives. They're just saying the quiet part out loud, to shape narratives. Yeah, we know. Now, the Israeli government said they are waiting for the French report. Then they will consider conducting their own investigation, which means absolutely nothing. And Israel has denied it has interests interfering with other countries. But I guess they're going to deny claims they've also interfered in Colombian elections. Or what about AIPAC in America? But of course, Israel never influences foreign elections. Now, despite this, there was no mention of Black Core in the MPs' debates. Kevin, I'm surprised this was even allowed to be debated in Parliament. What I'm not surprised is MPs calling it anti-Semitic. I want to get your reaction to this debate and obviously your reaction to the allegations from France.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it took place because I think it would have been a little bit too on the nose for them to deny the general rule that if you get, was it 100,000 signatures on a parliamentary e-petition, then you get automatically a debate in Parliament, assuming that it's actually debatable, like it's not something that would be against the law or something like that. But what they did was precisely what I would expect them to do if the influence of the Israeli lobby was so massive. They relegated it to a Westminster Hall debate rather than the main chamber, knowing that that would mean that it would get virtually no coverage in the media whatsoever, and they would stack it with loads of Labour Friends of Israel and Conservative Friends of Israel. And now, of course, the third cheek of the same arse again, the Reform members of Friends of Israel as well, of course, because where would they be without their Zionist dick riders? And then they'll allow like two funny little brown chaps to have a word as well, maybe, that sort of thing. And that's precisely what did take place. Really, the absurdity and the disgusting, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, just betrayal of Jewish people in Britain in this debate was literally summed up by the first speaker we heard, the Labour MP, who literally started off by being anti-Semitic, because as was pointed out several times in there, it's one of the definitions of anti-Semitism is the conflation of the actions of the State of Israel with Jewish people. And literally that first MP we saw stand up said, "I'd like to declare my interest, I am a Jew." Well, I'm sorry, it didn't say the influence of Jews in politics, it said the influence of the Israeli government in politics. That's it. So you standing up and declaring that being Jewish is an interest of yours means that you're inherently saying that Jewish people and Israel are the same thing. You are doing anti-Semitism right there with the very first thing you are saying. And so it continued. The absurd boy who cried wolf allegations of anti-Semitism don't wash anymore, but of course this is Westminster and they're about 10 years behind where the actual people are, and of course they're not really representatives of the people, because as was pointed out, various of the speakers were members of Labour Friends of Israel or Conservative Friends of Israel. These people are not good faith actors. Again, that first bloke who spoke was a representative of the British Board of Deputies, a known front of the Israeli government. We have all other organisations like the so-called Campaign Against Anti-Semitism, which is of course no such thing, which operate in Britain, even down to the fact that the Prime Minister, who was thanked by the second Labour MP we heard speak, for rooting out anti-Semitism, which was a nonsense anyway, literally took a phone call from the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, before then scuppering the SNP motion on a ceasefire in Gaza. We literally have Israeli representatives ringing up leaders of the opposition to get members of parliament to be shut down. That's it. It's so obvious, it's so nakedly obvious the influence that Israel has and our politics, and it's not some grand JQ conspiracy. Firstly, it's not that well hidden. Like, the secret protocols of the learned elders of Zion at least was a secret meeting. This isn't a secret meeting. People are pretty open and honest about what they're about, really, in many cases. We've saw from the Labour files exactly the way in which these people operate. This is a clandestine thing in some respects, but like you say with AIPAC, that again, they hold big national committees. Everyone knows exactly what they're about. They will target specifically anyone who is anti-Israel. They're not looking to control foreign countries in any other way. They're not trying to, control transport policy. They just want governments to be as friendly as possible to Israel. That's the entirety of their existence. That's what they are there to do. We have seen groups like the UK Lawyers for Israel, specifically targeting repeatedly with vexatious lawsuits anyone who is a prominent anti-genocide campaigner here in the UK. It's very, 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 very obvious to anyone who takes any look at this how much influence they have. And yeah, from that debate, you would imagine that this was an amazing, crazy notion, even though the people telling you that are actors of the Israeli state, because ultimately, as you pointed out, we don't know who funds Labour Friends of Israel, but they wouldn't need to be funded by the Israeli government directly for them to be paid actors of Israel, because we know that they diffuse their funding into various different places in order that you can't be directly linked back to them. So they'll set up a slush fund of sorts in different companies that they can then invest in political projects or infrastructure projects or whatever, or indeed pay spies that we know exist in all of these countries. And so it can't be linked directly back to the Israeli government. So they can plausibly say, we don't receive a penny from the Israeli government. And that may well be true. That doesn't mean they're not paid shills, because that's exactly what they are.
Well, I mean, that's their evidence. They say, well, there's no evidence. We don't take any money from the Israeli state. It's like, yes, because you can't take donations from a foreign state. That's illegal. Technically, you're a traitor if you do that.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're not going to take direct funds from Israel. And a lot of us aren't really suggesting that. We're saying, though, that their power and influence, and yes, money, it makes its way to these people, not directly through the state, but it's not just funds. It's the fact that ultimately, I think, even just one phone call can convince you to be pro-Israel. As you mentioned about Keir Starmer before the SNP motion, it was their opposition day and Labour usurped it to water it down. But there are people in Parliament who probably haven't even taken money from pro-Israel groups, but are just pro-Israel anyway, because the British state is a pro-imperialist endeavour, and so is Israel. I mean, they just have common interests. So there's also that too. But ultimately, though, the crazy thing here, though, is that we hear these same people bang on about Russia. And again, I'm not saying that Russia isn't a problem, but they bang on about Russia, and they specifically say it's Russia, are saying, well, you can't uniquely call out Israel. Oh, if you want to talk about connections to Israel, what we should be doing is inquiring all foreign powers, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, if you did that, you would omit Israel, like last time, as I believe Iqbal Mohammed said, or Ayub Khan said that Russia and China were subjected to a report. Those two countries were called out by name. Fine. And Israel wasn't included.
Yeah.
So now it's Israel's turn. And they're saying, and the funny thing is they say, but Israel gets a double standard,
Exactly.
You treat Israel differently. We're saying they should be treated the same as everybody else. If China and Russia are subject to investigations, then we want Israel too. But we do that like, no, that's anti-Semitic. You can't do that. It's anti-Semitism.
Literally, as is so often the case with the right, the accusation is the confession. Right?
Yeah.
When they say you hold Israel to a different standard, what they're ultimately admitting is that they hold Israel to a different standard. They want everyone else to be investigated for their foreign influence over British democracy, but not Israel. Israel is verboten. It's not allowed. It's off limits. And again, there are so many great examples from around the world that we could go to. And given that it's a current event, the ongoing imperialist endeavour of bombing the shit out of Iranian school children was literally done because a sitting Republican senator, Lindsey Graham, God knows what compromat they have on him, I can only imagine, was literally coached Benjamin Netanyahu to manipulate and deceive the sitting American president into starting a war. I don't know how that isn't espionage. I don't know how that isn't treasonous. I don't know how he has not been held to this account, except, of course, the rule of law is a joke, and it's to be applied to one's enemies and never to oneself, naturally. And so you can see the influence that Israel has at the very highest levels across all of these governments, and yet we are supposed to deny the evidence of our own eyes. And ultimately, they are essentially the last generation of politicians now for whom this will be the case. Because Israel has so massively overplayed its hand in the last 3 years, has so ludicrously overreacted to the situation, that generations now that are going to become the body politic are going to be replacing very pro-Israeli boomer generation as they begin to die off. And Israel is going to find support amongst Western governments much more difficult to come by. Not because they won't try to continue to influence them, but just their electorates have seen nothing but negativity from Israel and therefore feel nothing but negativity toward Israel.
Israel is widely hated, especially among the young.
Yeah.
So you're right. These MPs, we are going to see the back of them one day.
Yeah.
They're going to lose their seats. I'm very happy about it. We're gonna move on and get into our final story because it's coming to 8:30. But you know what I'm going to say before we move on? It's 2026, and we really want this year to be big for Turn Left. We want to be far more ambitious than last year and to really put us on the map. We've got some exciting things coming your way in terms of visuals. Not going to tell you what it is though. Soon you'll find out. And we would like 2026 to be the year where we can have a studio and for our contributors to be paid for the work we do. Your support over the years has been amazing, and we are ready to take this to the next level. We rely on small donations. So if you want to be part of a media organization that seeks to destroy the oligarchs, then please head over to turnleftmedia.co.uk/support. There you can support us monthly on Patreon, or there is another link for a one-time contribution. You can also become a YouTube member for 99p and check us out on Twitch. Get us that Bezos money. We're going to take the oligarchs' money and we're going to screw them over by going to twitch.tv//turnleftmedia. Of course, also this weekend, we will be at the Media Democracy Festival. It's hosted at the University of Westminster. We've got speakers from Zeteo, Declassified UK, and our very own Sarah Delau will be speaking on a panel called Censorship, Propaganda and State Media Collusion. That is incredibly exciting. So you say we want to be far more ambitious. One of our very own is speaking on the panel. Tickets are free, so make sure you go if you're around. Come say hello. We're going to be there all day, doing lots of interviews, and it's going to be great. Let's go on to our final story. Jeremy Corbyn has gone after Keir Starmer after his resignation speech. This is what Starmer said.
6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt. I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible. But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag.
Seeing this man resign has been one of the best things I've seen this year. The best things I've seen for a couple of years, actually. I really despised this man, and he constantly lies. But I suppose that was the perfect speech. He ended on a U-turn because just days before he said he was going to fight a leadership election, and he resigns. He also ended his speech on lies, because this man is a serial, if not pathological, liar. When he stood for Labour leadership, he was going to take the Jeremy Corbyn manifesto 2017 and he was going to run with it. He had his 10 pledges: nationalisation, scrapping university tuition fees, a ethical foreign policy, like siding with a genocide. And he scrapped it almost immediately. People around him knew he was lying. He was lying to the membership just to get elected. And of course, at the end there, he said, you know what? The Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn, he doesn't name her, but that's who he means, was morally bankrupt. But Jeremy Corbyn clapped back and he called it an insult.
I was extremely angry about it. I was proud to be elected and to lead the Labour Party, elected twice to lead it, proud of the policies we developed, all of which were endorsed by Keir Starmer. And when I stepped down from leader of the Labour Party, the party had funds, had 600,000 members, and it had policies that were actually individually very popular across the country about social redistribution. So on the idea it's morally bankrupt is a really disgraceful comment to make.
Keir Starmer, when he became Labour leader, seemed to go along with quite a few of the policies that you had championed. When did you realise that he was going in a very radically different direction?
By the summer of 2020, when he started making complaints and so on, having said that I was apparently his best friend, which was news to me, but there you go. He then, as you know, suspended me from membership, and then I was reinstated on membership, and then seems to spend an awful lot of time complaining about my time in the leadership. Now, anyone can disagree. That's fine. That's what politics is about. But to call it morally bankrupt and call the party financially bankrupt is nonsense. The party had funds. It had just come out of a general election campaign. We'd actually paid off all the debts during my leadership, inherited from Tony Blair's leadership. And we got the membership up to the highest in Europe of 600,000. I don't know what it is now, but I would say it's well south of 200,000. I was extremely angry about it.
I saw a poll quite recently, which showed that people still thought that Labour had an anti-Semitism problem. I'm just thinking, to Keir Starmer, to Morgan McSweeney, those around him, all those that usurped the Corbyn leadership and attacked the left, was it worth it to kick out the social backbone of the Labour Party, by the way, to sack people like Sam Tarry for standing on a picket line, to kick out Jeremy Corbyn, who's been in the party longer than some people have even been alive, and to give up all of its principles just for the Labour Party to get elected on the Loveless Land side, for the Prime Minister to resign halfway through, and for people to still think the Labour have an anti-Semitism problem. They have done absolutely nothing. Now, the funny thing is that Keir Starmer got less votes than Jeremy Corbyn in 2017 and 2019. And Keir Starmer is the most unpopular Prime Minister. Like, Jeremy Corbyn is literally more popular than you. He got more votes than you. And yet still, on your political deathbed, you smear Jeremy Corbyn's leadership. But it's just so pathetic, but it's also ironic and funny at the same time, because it was all for nothing. They hollowed out the party. There's probably less than 200,000 members. All of that just for Keir Starmer to fucking resign and for him to become extremely unpopular and for Labour to be the most unpopular it's been in a very long time. Kevin, it almost feels like, and I truly believe this, that Starmer's biggest achievement for him personally was to purge the left. Nothing about getting into government, nothing about doing anything in government. I truly feel like he believes in his head, it was me changing the party. That was his greatest achievement.
Yeah, I mean, really, it is. It's the only thing he's done successfully, is purge the left. He's not done anything else successfully. He didn't, like you say, he didn't get more votes than Jeremy Corbyn did, so he's not more successful in that regard. He has led a political party that has, like you say, been hollowed out, has got about a third, if that, of the membership it had under Jeremy Corbyn, when apparently it was the party of Holocaust denial, according to noted sycophant James O'Brien. But I am just mostly annoyed that you played the wrong bit of that speech. Because for me, the best bit was when he started crying. It was fucking hilarious. I take no amount of guilt in the joy I have felt towards that. I don't know that my erection will ever subside from watching this man broken by this experience. Good, you deserve it. You're a fucking monster. The idea that you can sit here calling other people racist when you were the person, Mr. Starmer, and I'm not going to call you Sir Starmer because it's a joke, Mr. Starmer, you're going to call someone else racist when you literally were echoing Enoch Powell's Rivers of Blood speech, you prick. You have had the most draconian immigration policy that any government has ever had in this nation. That you call them morally bankrupt when you are engaging in a genocide, actively doing spy flights on behalf of genocide, running ops on behalf of genocide, blocking any motion to try and stop genocide at the United Nations, or indeed abstaining when America was going to do it anyway. So Starmer to be that pathetic and weak. And as you pointed out, or as Jeremy Corbyn pointed out, they weren't financially bankrupt either, whereas now they are. If a general election was fought today, I don't know that they'd be able to afford the bus fare to get to their constituencies, let alone actually campaigning much. Keir Starmer will be remembered as a genocide enforcing, corrupt liar. He is the shortest-lived Labour Prime Minister ever, which is a record he may hold forever because Labour may never have another Prime Minister. He may have killed them completely because the one person who might have been able to save the Labour Party, Andy Burnham, is essentially coming down to do northern briefcaseism. He's doing briefcase. That's it. He's not going to change it either. So the same smears, the same bullshit is gonna continue. So that Labour Party is dead, and Keir Starmer killed it, along with his own political career, his legacy, and well, everything else he's touched. Fuck him.
I mean, because you could argue that Tony Blair didn't kill the party because it became morally bankrupt, in my view. The Iraq War, PFI.
Oh yeah.
Tax to benefits, but he didn't institutionally purge the left. He allowed some leftists on the cabinet. It was just a horribly right-wing version of Labour, but he didn't kill the party, and Jeremy Corbyn came out of that. But Keir Starmer did, because he's turned it into a clique, and it's so funny listening to like the Blairites and Starmerites, all up until the general election. When Jeremy Corbyn represented a hard left clique, and it's like, no, because Corbyn's Labour increased to 600,000, like more people joined it. That's not a clique. But purging people, even not just socialists, not just those who are pro-Palestinian, but like soft left people who voted against the 2-child benefit cap, and then a year later to scrap it, but after you purged people, like that's a fucking right-wing clique.
Yeah, I just have to stop you. There's no such thing as a Starmerist. Because Starmer isn't a thing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It isn't. There are no policies that one can really define as Starmer, other than
briefcases.
Briefcaseism. Other than setting up a quango to decide on having a subcommittee for public inquiry to discover what might be a thing that we could maybe do as a policy in government at some point in the future.
And it would cost millions to do so.
Yeah, asking KPMG to come up with a policy isn't a policy, mate. Do you know what I mean? He will be remembered to the degree he's remembered at all, because he is one of the most insanely forgettable blank pieces of paper, a balloon with a negative neutral face drawn on it, right? He's just a pointless empty suit, a husk, a glove puppet for Morgan McSweeney. The degree to which he is remembered, he will be remembered as a genocider and nothing else.
Well, the thing is, I think you're probably right about him not being remembered. Like, at the moment, he's like the most hated. He's breaking records and being hated.
Yeah.
But if you look back in history at political leaders and British prime ministers, the ones that stand out are the ones who, rightly or wrongly, were bold.
Well, not just that, the ones that lasted. Like Liz Truss was bold, but no one even now remembers Liz Truss, and she was only a couple of years ago. Well, 4 or 5 years ago now.
But like Keir Starmer won't be, and I think a lot of right wingers, but he'll definitely be remembered as the least popular prime minister. I don't think that's even the case, because again, he's bland, and apart from the genocides, people are going to be like, I don't really know what he stood for. People are going to remember Boris Johnson. They absolutely will, and I think they will remember Jeremy Corbyn, because Jeremy Corbyn also, not just as Labour leader, but has been a campaigner and has extra parliamentary political campaigns. Like that also makes his legacy bigger. But yes, Starmer's never been remembered. And I'm glad. I hope he's forgotten, because I despise him that much. I almost don't want him to be remembered as hated. I want him to be remembered as not remembered at all.
I want him to be remembered as an inmate of The Hague. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal or indeed just world. But he will be the next time he gets mentioned in British politics will be the last time, and that will be whoever becomes the next most unpopular prime minister ever. And they'll say he's just overtaken Keir Starmer, who was the most previous one, and that will be the second death of the prime ministership of Keir Starmer. In that he will be the last time he will ever be mentioned, because who gives a fuck?
Yep. I mean, you're right about Andy Burnham. His statements about welfare to fund defence.
Yeah. Well, what does he like, what does he actually want to do differently? I'd love him or anyone else to tell me this. Like, I almost want Al Carnes to stand because as my MP, it would be very funny to see him get battered.
I don't know who's your MP.
Yeah, he is literally Al Carnes is actually my MP. He's never been here. He's not from here. He's like the ultimate carpetbagger piece of shit. But yeah, he is my MP. So it'd be funny to see him get absolutely battered, and he would get absolutely battered. But there actually is a serious point there that I'd like to see it happen, just on the basis that it would force Andy Burnham to actually come up with some sort of policy position.
Yeah, I want to see a contest.
Yeah.
Even though we know he's going to win, I want him to be really grilled.
Yeah.
Not that his opponents are going to grill him, because they're just going to probably pivot to the right of him, and he'll sound like the lefty or whatever. But I want to see it happen. Let's leave that there, and I think it's coming to 22. Let's go to our comments and bring in our producer.
I'm just going to say now, I'm putting my fucking fan on, because you're not putting this bit up on YouTube, so you can get fucked. All right, I'm sweating.
It is going to be on YouTube, but
well, you're not going to cut this segment out, are you? Is the point. So I'm putting my fan on. You're just going to have to deal with the audio issues. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Our audio issues are terrible anyway. We always have audio issues.
Well, we are leftists, so it would be only fitting, yeah.
Exactly. The sound of the... I said on a show the other day, Kevin, that like Andy Burnham, when he won in Makerfield, he started speaking into the microphone, and the audio was so bad that I didn't like anything he was saying, but I started to think, I could get behind a revolution led by this guy, because his audio is so bad, it really does make him feel like a leftist.
Although the best thing was Howling Lord Hope being his hype man. Just sort of ending his sentences by repeating the thing he just said while stood right next to him.
Oh, I don't think you're added to the scene. No, you're not. Give me a sec.
Cheers.
This ain't a scene, it's a goddamn arms race.
They missed your joke.
Ah, damn it. Wait, can people hear me now? They should be able to hear me now, right? Okay, cool. By the way, people in the comments managed to can't hear Ben, so somebody was paying attention well enough to know that Kevin's reaction to that joke was a reaction to what I said. That's really cool.
Anyway. Well, on my end, they definitely heard, right? So it made sense. But to people watching on the thing, I must have sounded mental. Yeah, because I was reacting to nothing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't really hear your fan, actually, which is quite good.
Okay, I'll put it next to my fucking mic for you. There you go.
That's great.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so first of all, really great show, guys. Really well done. The emotion level from both of you was just fucking fantastic. I love it when, I totally disagree when Ben Shapiro said, facts don't care about your feelings. No. Bullshit. You should feel angry about the stuff that we're talking about tonight, and it is right to feel angry about it. And frankly, I don't trust if people are nonchalant about some of the things that we've discussed tonight. Let's go through the donos first of all. Michael kindly gifted a Turn Left membership, as is tradition. Thank you, Michael. And James Holmes donated £2 and said somehow Jeremy Beadle has returned. Brutal.
No, I'm just going to say, I like that joke, so shut up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's it.
He looks like he really likes it.
I do. I love that joke. You should do it more. Definitely.
So, Katie Marshall kindly gifted 10 left memberships. Thank
Hello.
you, Katie. And go and say hello to Katie on her own stream.
True.
And what do we have? We have, not really, Rachel Atwood donated $2 and said he'd have celebrated German science in the 40s too. I don't know who this is in reference to, because we've dealt with so many shit.
Well, I
things.
presume
quite a few people.
I presume he's talking about Richard Tice going on about how Jewish contribution to science.
Yeah,
yes. That was.
Yeah, to be fair,
bullshit.
the Nazis did make some advances in science. It's interesting what advances in science you can have when you completely give up on ethics. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's an
Well,
absurd quote from Richard Tice.
a point I was going to make actually on Israel when they were, we talked about the French report of influence in the Scottish election, and Israel said, "Oh, we'll wait till we get the report and then we'll decide on whether we do what we do about it." This week, it was revealed that the Israeli government have dropped any charges against the 7 Israeli officers that were filmed raping a Palestinian. Literally filmed. We all saw that footage. Harrowing and evil. That's been dropped.
Well, I mean, one of them appeared on Israeli media, and the audience clapped for him. He was literally celebrated as a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and we also have the hospital reports talking about the perforation that he suffered. The victim suffered. Sorry, not the perpetrator. The victim suffered. So like this is like well documented, I would say.
It's just fucking sick. It gets quite hard to do analysis and commentary when it's just so sick and depraved.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean about that.
But criticism of that is anti-Semitism.
Well, exactly. You're just a massive anti-Semite, of course.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Rachel Atwood donated another $2 and said AIPAC got thrashed in New York City last night.
They did. Well, I'm rocking the Mamdani tonight. Fuck yes. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, did you know allegedly Black Corps didn't just go for Scotland, they also went for New York.
Yeah, exactly. So they've been very successful given the SNP's landslide and Mamdani's landslide.
They should do it more often because it seems like they keep fucking losing, which I love.
Well, because again, they're fighting an uphill battle because, like, you can try and do Hasbro propaganda all you like, but, like, it's difficult to look past a Palestinian man with his child mushed up in a bag. Like you can't unsee that. No amount of calling someone an anti-Semite gets that image out of your brain ever again.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The world we live in now is that Israel's on the fucking ballot. It quite literally is.
Yeah, yeah.
American politicians put Israel on the ballot, but also the Israeli influence is that, well, you almost need to vote against Israel. So, like, voting for Mamdani and voting for pro-Palestinian people, obviously you vote for them on their moral fibre, but in a way you're kind of like, I need to vote for these people because I don't want this fucking foreign influence in our country.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it, Richard Tice? There is one particular type of foreigner he wants to move to the country.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, the hypocrisy from the right wing and the far right. You got Tommy Robinson, Lawrence Fox, a bunch of other people who are extremely racist. He will say anything they want about black people, about minorities, about Muslims, but suddenly they care about Jewish people. Like, no, of course not. It's because you like the fact that Israel is an apartheid state and you want that shit over here. You want a white ethno state. That's why you pretend to care about Jewish people. Like, if you're just be mindful of it. When you hear right-wing politicians say, well, anti-Semitism is a scourge on society, you cannot take these people seriously when they're also happy to throw minorities under the bus and happy to attack Muslims. You don't get to be selectively an anti-racist. You're one or you're not. That's literally it. There's no other. There's no gradient, right? It's fucking black and white.
Oh, that's a bit racist.
Wow. Anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but also just a kind of point on Mamdani. It just goes to show you, establishment Democrats, you don't have to ride Zionist dick to be electable in America. Now, I get that New York is not necessarily representative of all America, but the point is, as the mayor of a city with a significant Jewish population, which doesn't exist in most other places in America, he specifically and purposely didn't attend the Israeli fucking propaganda march fucking bullshit. And his candidates romped home to victory everywhere they were. Again, you don't need to do it.
Is it Rob Lander or not Rob Lander?
No, well, Israel do rob land, but I don't think they get called that.
Brad Lander, who was running for mayor, but he sort of dropped out. When it dropped out, he said, "Vote for me second preference, vote for Mamdani first preference."
Are you going to ignore my Rob Lander joke? That's what Israel do. They rob land.
Oh right, yeah.
I didn't get that.
It's funny you said it the second time.
It's too warm. I didn't get that.
Yeah, my brain's mush.
Honestly, I'm better than this. I'm above you.
This is true. By the way, the shit that Peter Peter Prinsley was saying, the guy from the he was the guy who stood up and said, look, I'm the only Jewish person here, blah blah blah. But then he said, Oh, you know what is a threat to democracy? People like Elon Musk talking about like mass migration and inciting riots on the streets of Britain, and he sort of like insinuated reform as well. And it's like you don't have to do a heavy jump from any of those people to find like literally the Israeli government. Like literally, it's like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Netanyahu. Like they hang out together. They're friends.
Musk has been invited to Israel.
Yeah, the fucking look. The Epstein class are firmly in control of the situation for the time being.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, sorry. Ollie donated 5 Turn Left memberships. Thank you very much, Ollie. Thank you. It was lovely to see you the other day, by the way. Katie Marshall said. Donated £2 and said, "Oi, Israel, keep out my country's politics," and I agree. And Cremaster Blaster donated £2 and said, "Tell us the secret or prepare." And Idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy. I thought I read that wrong for a second. Gifted 5 Turn Left memberships. Thank you so much. I don't recognise that name, and that's lovely to see new people donating. And Ollie put in another £2 and said, "Beatle fan." You're not getting away from this.
Yes, I do
not stop.
I do have a fan on. Yes, thank you.
And you do, yeah. There's a Beatle fan. And Jeremy Beadle fan donated £5 and said approved.
Wait, who's the profile?
I don't.
It's Kevin twice.
Yeah. It's Kevin twice. Incredible. Thank you very much for those. That is absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look at some other comments that have been starred. A Poodlefish Girl said, in reference to the first story about Nigel Farage, "The wheels are definitely coming off for Frogface. Hope this doesn't mean they're going to try to foist low on us." And I think that's, something we're all hoping. Becca said, no, Nigel. David Amos and Joe Cox died from attacks. Diane Abbott is the most abused. Nigel is a crying, whinging little Mardy frog with no morals or integrity. I think.
Well, you say that, you say that, Becca, but do we know whether he's lactose intolerant or not? Because that could have been a very dangerous milkshake.
Oh my God. And Judge Buzzy rightly pointed out that it seems like he's not so against government handouts when it's for him, obviously for his quote-unquote security. I do want to say that... Oh, go on.
I was going to say that he keeps claiming that, I have to take £5 million for security because the state won't give me security. And either he's saying they don't give him security or he believes he should have upgraded security. Now, look, you are an MP that is not a government minister nor prime minister. You should get the same amount as any other backbench MP. And yes, when you become a minister and prime minister, the security can be upscaled. So he wants special treatment. But him saying that I don't really get, security from the state, completely unsubstantiated, by the way. There's no evidence to prove that claim. And of course, there's a load of rubbish. As if Parliament is not going to give him security. Every MP gets a form of security. That's just a fact.
Yeah. Also, there's no way he spent $5 million on security. That's bollocks.
And apparently, one of the commenters saying that he was offered security and he turned it down. I don't know anything about that, but
would not surprise me. Yes, and I did want to say actually, one of the things that you should always do when Nigel Farage is on TV or radio is watch and try and learn from the way he performs, because he is a good media performer.
Very good.
It's worth noting that he repeated that "security until I die" line, which will hopefully, which none of us know when that will be. It does show that he goes on and he has pre-prepared lines that he uses, right? And so, particularly, we should be pressuring our media class to. If you've got Nigel Farage on at 8:05, you should be watching the LBC interview that he's doing at 7:30, right? Because you know that you can ask him those questions, he's going to have a response, and then you have something to hit him back with. It is not good enough that these people don't have a pre-prepared response to hit him back with.
Because the corporate media are a joke. Yeah. They are a fanfare, a circus. They are not serious. They don't do serious journalism. That is just a fact. It's why we exist.
Well, indeed, and everyone should support Turn Left. In terms of Nigel Farage dying, though, the fact that he survived that plane crash proved to me that there is no God.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you not remember?
The plane crash, do you not know
yeah,
that?
2005 general election day. He was in one of those like little two-people aircraft things that flies, short haul, and it crashed. There's a picture of him with blood smeared on his face and stuff.
Oh, of course, the image. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember the image. Yeah.
And it was like kind of miraculous that he survived. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, with regards to the committee on the influence of Israel or pro-Israel groups in British politics, Terry Reagan said, sick of this weaponising of anti-Semitism, and Andy Stripes said along the same lines, it's literally a uni-party. I think that we
including
will agree
Reform
with that.
as well, wasn't it?
If it's a uni party, does that mean it's student politics?
Oh.
Why is your laugh funnier than the joke?
Oh, thank you very much.
the centrists' favourite insult. So Antifa Vegan Boy said this is one of the reasons they're so desperate to control the information the next generation can access online.
Oh, yeah.
And Reform pushing for revisionist patriotic curriculums so that, of course, the young don't question them. I also thought, by the way, that the comment that Mike Wood made, I don't know if you remember it, was really strange because it was the comment was made first of all, Russia and what other country was it? I've forgotten. Russia and China.
I think he was China,
were. Yeah, Russia and China were investigated, and Israel wasn't, or included in this report, and Israel weren't. And Mike Wood stood up and said, "Well, the difference is that Russia is attacking us, or has repeatedly attacked us," and it kind of led me to think, well, if Russia wasn't attacking us, but was invading Ukraine, as in they'd done nothing against the UK, no Salisbury, nothing. Would he be okay with that? Would he be like, oh, well, that's fine then, obviously? I don't understand that standard.
Can I just say, what do you mean, Salisbury? They were just going to see the cathedral.
Yeah, they're just checking out the cathedral. It's the highest in the country, don't you know? It's 1,000 and whatever it is feet high.
It's a beautiful city, and I don't know why anyone would think that they would be involved in any kind of nefarious activities whatsoever. Do you know one of those two is now in the Russian parliament?
Really?
Yeah, he's in the Duma. He's a member of Putin's party. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So just goes to show you, like, we talk about the corruption here. There's plenty of corruption to go around, lads. It's an international affair.
That's very true.
But it was just a quick excuse, right? Because of course, if there were no attacks on our soil, of course they would absolutely. Because look, Russian influence has been spoken about fucking before I was born, right? There's,
yeah.
You know, Russia and the West have always been adversaries.
Reds
so
under the bed was
going to do that.
yeah. Reds under the bed was like a thing for decades after the war. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and even McCarthyism. Of course,
Yeah.
you know, there was the Red Scare, and I'm not saying that the attacks on Russia today are all about Red Scare, but it was before. So like, there's always been this animosity with Russia, and I can't see an MP saying, "Well, they didn't directly attack us, so we don't support an investigation." Like, they would support an investigation. What they're asking for is, as you said, Kevin, every accusation is confession. They're saying you want special treatment for Israel, and they get double standard. They're asking for special treatment. Yeah. Russia, China, they get it. They get their inquiries and reports and sanctions. But Israel, should be allowed to have a free pass. So well, they're asking for special treatment, and then when you call out that hypocrisy, you're anti-Semite. No more debate, and that's the thing, they cannot debate this. They know they're wrong. They know they're completely wrong. So the only thing they can fucking do is say, well, you're just anti-Semitic. You're JQing. When you say Israel, you mean Jewish people, don't you? No, we mean Israel. Like, the beginning of the debate, the first MP was like, I'm a Jewish MP. I need to declare my influence or whatever. Interest. But we said Israel, not Jewish people, for God's sakes.
Well, it's so bizarre because it's about geostrategic alliances, right? So if you're a friend of the West, friend in quotation marks, a friend of the oligarchs of the West, you're allowed to do whatever you like. Whereas if you're a geopolitical enemy, you're not. So Russia can go into Ukraine and do demonstrably less damage than Israel has done in the Gaza Strip, and indeed continues to do in the West Bank. and yet one will be instantly condemned as war crimes and genocide, and Israel is given a pass. These people talk about like, oh, how you're doing the JQ, when they themselves are almost seeming to want to make the JQ a real thing. But in the aftermath of the Golders Green attack, you literally had the police coming out and smearing a leftist, was not even an MP, a member of the London Assembly, Zach Polanski, for daring to criticise the police's response, and saying they were going to set up a specific part of the Metropolitan Police Force just for Jewish people. Look, you're trying to give preferential treatment to Jewish people.
Yeah.
How you're bringing the JQ into being, you daft bastards? What the fuck are you doing?
And Peter Prinsley said, you know, you don't know what it's like, you know, as a Jewish person walking down the street, you know, in daylight. I'm not saying that being Jewish doesn't have its risks, but imagine being a fucking Muslim in this country.
Yeah, there was well, look at Edinburgh.
A person of colour.
Look what happened in Edinburgh. More people were attacked in Edinburgh than at Golders Green.
And
yet,
where was the Cobra meeting?
Exactly. Where was the
Cobra meeting?
Where was the police coming out and smearing people? Where was the Metropolitan Police coming out and saying we're going to have a specific area targeted just for Muslims? No, there wasn't any.
Yep.
Yeah, where was the open letter written by the police commissioner or head of police written to Nigel Farage after the incitement of riots and two-tier policing bullshit? Come on.
Yeah.
It's such shit. But we do have to go on because it is boiling in here and I'm rapidly running out of moisture inside my body. It's evaporating.
We're running out of air and oxygen.
Literally. So with regards to Starmer and Corbyn, Lana Pierce said about Keir Starmer, you got fewer votes than Corbyn, 100%.
Well, hang on. You say in regards to Keir Starmer, he doesn't say that, does it? They could be saying it about any one of us three.
True.
To which I say,
fewer votes than Corbyn.
I've got fewer votes than Corbyn.
See how many votes you get.
I've got fewer votes than Corbyn at time of recording.
Yes, yeah, potentially
saying.
Could get more.
Just saying.
And MBT2K on Twitch said Corbyn was far too kind about this twat.
He's too honor. He's such a gentleman, so honourable.
Well, this is the thing, right? As he was with the Labour Party, he was too fucking timid with his enemies. Like the irony is they accused him of Stalinism, but he actually could have taken a lesson from Uncle Joe in maybe dealing with your political enemies.
Exactly. You should have been more like fucking Stalin.
Rather than invite the snakes into your cabinet, big tent snake cabinet.
Well, yeah, it's like they're going to call you a Stalinist either way, so it's like, well, okay. Yeah, I did want to jump in on the whole the point
he could have learned from Joe to grow an awesome moustache as well, but he didn't. For shame, Mr. Corbyn. For shame.
He got voted best beard in Parliament a few times. I've got to give him that.
Oh, fair enough. Just with regards to what you were saying, Curtis, about like the prime ministers that stand out are the ones that are bold, like historically. I do think that is correct, but it wouldn't be correct to, as Kevin said, when it comes to Liz Truss, because although Liz Truss was bold, I think it has to be bold according to the status quo of your party or the country in general. It has to be bold on one of those two positions, like a radical differentiation.
She wouldn't have ran long enough to really
two positions. Yeah,
and
so
I wouldn't consider her bold anyway, though.
But her economic agenda was not particularly bold compared to the current run of the country. I just want to give some examples. So, for example, like the Liberal government of 2011, I've written down 2011. I didn't mean that. 1911, with like the first sort of welfare reforms that brought in like an early state pension, national insurance. That was all a shift. You're a nerd, Kevin. That was all a shift from the status quo.
Talk about the Corn Laws. Talk about the Corn Laws. Go on.
Yeah. Churchill was a shift from the status quo in like being like willing to fight Germany, or that's the legacy he's remembered for. Clement Attlee, break from the status quo, welfare reforms, massive investment in housing, all of this shit. Thatcher and Blair, you can argue, like break from the status quo of their country or the party that they're in, and a radical shift. Those are the people that the names we remember, right? I just think it's a really interesting discussion, and it's not nerdy. I'm cool, Kevin.
Oh no, all the cool kids, All the cool kids are talking about David Lloyd George's fucking amendments to old age pensions.
Yes, they are. So, Fox News journalist said, Starmer out of politics and back in court, please. ICC calling.
Did you hear that someone even suggested, he might be, potentially going to be in a job on the international stage, potentially as a ICC prosecutor? And I just went, oh my fuck god. So yes, he could get a job or he could go to the ICC as a fucking defendant.
Yeah,
that's I ever want to see him over
exactly.
there.
I don't mind that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yes. No, 100%.
Honestly, I'd be more than happy with him having a lifelong position at The Hague. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
A secured contract, right? Never broken.
Exactly.
How's that for workers' rights, you arsehole?
Yeah, that's what we want to see. And
I was going to say renters' rights.
And hopefully, once our sleeper agent Andy Burnham takes power and then institutes the revolution,
he's our Mancurian candidate. He's our Mancurian candidate.
Mancurian candidate.
That's really good.
Yes, I did a good one. I'm actually surprised I fucking did that.
Oh, that's good.
Oh god, that's worth a donation or two.
That's a good. To be fair, that's a good high to end on. Let's end on that. I will hand back to you for the end of the show. Thanks very much, guys, and fantastic show.
Thank you very much, Ben. Brilliant show, despite the heat. I mean, I've been sweltering and you've been sweltering, but fantastic. It feels like it's been a while since I hosted and spoken to you. It was probably only a few weeks ago, but we've missed you, Kevin.
Well, I've
missed you.
Well, you need to get better aim then.
Okay.
I've missed
your dad jokes have been reeling tonight, and I feel like just not.
Well, look, I'm quite literally and metaphorically on fire right now, so.
Metaphorically, yes. You were spitting facts tonight. We'll get.
True. Yeah, thanks for having me on. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get you back on. I'm sure they'll like you. So again, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining me. Thank you to all of our donations and our viewers. You've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, because your support absolutely means everything. As I said at the top of the show, we are just a group of volunteers. Although, to be fair, right, I think for a group of volunteers, we do a good job. I think this is pretty slick. Yes, we have tech issues, of course, but we are always trying to improve and be more professional, graphics and stuff like that. So I feel like we almost punch above our weight in a way. And it's only going to get better. As I mentioned earlier, there's going to be some visual changes going on. Almost a return to the old. That's probably a hint I'll give you there, which could be happening very soon. If you want us to grow, then please head over to turnleftmedia.co.uk/supports. Click on our Patreon link for a monthly donation, or there's another link for a one-time contribution. You can also become a YouTube member for 99p. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please stay safe, make sure you're hydrated, and keep yourself cool in this really, really tough weather. I'm Curtis Daly. You've been watching Normal Island Live, and I'll see you next time. Let's go, Raiden. Let's go, Raiden.
Gonna raid into Kevin's.
Let's go raiding. Let's go raiding into the BBC.
Yeah, I think we should.
Live.
Yeah, just raid into LBC instead of Kevin.
Yeah. Phenomenal show. But yeah, it's fucking hot.
Yes.
I've been that hot that my mug's empty, and I've been drinking from it, just hoping another drop will just emerge.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I think Kevin might be speaking to us, but I can't hear him.
I was just saying, I think I will be sustained forever by the moisture from Keir Starmer's tears.
Yeah, so many people felt sorry for him. I'm like, look, I can't. I'm sorry. I cannot feel sorry for him.
Beautiful.
Even in his tears, he seemed like a robot.
Curtis, that comment about Mancurian candidate, I think that is so good. We might have to give that to Sarah for the panel and get her to say, unless it turns out that that Andy Burnham is actually our dare I say, Mancurian candidate.
Oh, I was muted for my Hitler song. Oh no.
just saved, turn left, and saved our monetization there.
Well, no, I always mute.
I think Steve Bray's music in that background of Keir Starmer probably fucked the monetization up.
Well, surely that's out of copyright now. Beethoven can't possibly still have the fucking rights to that. Surely. Like, if Steamboat Willie is out of fucking copyright, that has to be. No, but I mute myself on your end, and then I sing the Hitler song just to my chat. But I was also muted on that as well. So I was just a man in his underpants singing an Adolf Hitler song.
Yeah, see that now because you're the only person that heard it. That's really concerning.
Yeah, it's just sad to do it to yourself.
Yeah,
it's yeah. Although you'll find probably very relatable experiences inside Restore Britain if you go there. I'm sure a lot of them do that. Sing Nazi songs in their underpants. Yeah, I am going to get going because I am absolutely boiling and I need to air this room. And I've also got things to get on with. Yeah, I will see you guys a little bit later on. Curtis, you and I probably need to communicate about Media Democracy Festival so that we're all prepared for that. That is going to be fucking awesome. Can't wait.
Oh, I forgot to mention there's no show on Friday.
Oh shit! You can we'll put out a tweet or something. It'll be fine. All right, and put it in the Discord as well. And then most people, I'll catch most people. All right, I'll catch you guys a little bit later on.
See you later, everybody.
Bye bye. And we're done. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. I think Manchurian is a joke. I don't get it. You know, it's based on Manchurian Candidate, the idea of having a sleeper agent who is at your beck and call but is nominally not so. Whereas Mancunian Candidate is someone from Manchester. So it's a pun. It's actually very, very good. You know, but there we go. Oh, I was going to do Prime Minister's questions, but I'm literally fucking dripping with sweat. And I'm so uncomfortable with the entirety. Burnham is a Scouser. Well, he's a Scouser, but he's Mayor of Greater... Or was Mayor of Greater Manchester. So, like, the joke works. Anyway, I am going to... because I'm going to leave. I know you only just got raided in here, and by the way, if you are new here, hit the follow button or subscribe or whatever. I'm genuinely, I don't care anymore. I'm so sweaty. I'm Mancune and I disavow Burnham. Fair play. He's from Warrington. He's not scared. Well, look, Dope Stick. No one cares about the tiny geographic distances between these things. Okay, not a single. But in the same way that, like, when someone says, "Oh, are you from Wolverhampton?" and I get offended, they go, "Like, I don't care. I don't like. You're from the kind of Midlands who gives a fuck. You're all the same." Again, this is true regardless, right? Whether you're from Sunderland, Middlesbrough, or Newcastle, no one fucking cares. Anyway. Thank you, Fogler says, I subscribed to this channel, all I got was a wart on my pecker. Hitler is all I have to say to that. Hitler. This is why reform will win, probably, yeah. The Lancastrian Candidate. That kind of works, I guess. But, I mean, also, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave now because, again, sweaty. Honestly, I've got, like, under-boob sweat. No one needs this. This is unseemly. Who is going on Twitter? Some random guy. Go and say hello to some random guy who is cool. War at Roses? What are you talking about, lad? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just doing a series of slightly racist, not racist, regionalist, is that the word? I'll send you over to the I nearly said the TERFs. They're not TERFs. The serfs on Twitch. Go and do the things. I don't care. I'm tired. I'll be back. Go on. Let's go Scotland tonight, playing Brazil. So I'll be watching that, and I'll be back tomorrow with. I think Christy might be on tomorrow, but don't hold me to that because I might have misremembered. But anyway, stay cool. No, pass around.
Trans women all the time. So movies that had gay people or trans people suddenly